Hello everyone and welcome to SAP ERP MM module tutorials. The topic covered in this tutorial is purchase order. All the steps related to creation, change, release and other details to be entered in a purchase order will be shown in this tutorial. Now the basic T codes which we use for PO are as below. ME21N for creation, ME22N for change, ME23N for display, and ME29N for release of PO. There also exists a standard PO report in the SAP system, and the T code for the same is ME29N. We have a customized PO report also available, that is ZMM4038. By using this code, we can also take the printout of the PO report. Now, since we need to hand over the PO to the vendor, the printout of the PO is required and the T code for the same is ZMM4022. Now, as in the last tutorial we all have seen, we have created a PR with all the variations. Now, PO in the system can be created in two ways, with reference to a PR, and one is open order, that is without reference to a PR. Now, the creation of PO with reference to a PR has been made mandatory in the system. An open order will be created only in exception cases, and the permission for the same will be taken from the IT department. Only they can authorize for the same. Now, while creating PO, we have to keep in mind that a purchase order will always be created from the SAP ID of an executive engineer. Since all the details related to the order are already entered in a PR, when we reference the PR, all the basic data is automatically reflected in the PO. Other than those data, the conditions like tax conditions, freight, discount, insurance, surcharge, packaging, forwarding charges, as you can see on the screen, these extra conditions we need to add in a purchase order. We have also seen that there is a practice of adding taxes in the PR itself by creating a separate line item in the PR, which is a wrong practice and need to be avoided. Now we'll switch over to SAP and run the whole process. As you can see, there is a PR in the screen. We have already created a work PR with PR number this. This PR has all the type of variations in the line item. One is for the supply line item, the item going directly to the store. The other one is for the supply line item again. In this, the item is directly getting consumed in the cost center. Since we can see we have entered K in the A column. The next one are the two line items for services. One is in the limit and other one is in the services. Now we are going to adopt this PR to create a PO. Now we'll run the T code ME21N. This screen will appear in front of us. As you can see, it has been written create purchase order. This window will be available. Now in the first step, we need to select the document type of the PO, similar to the step we used to do in the PR. So we have selected, since we have work PR ONM, the document type with the PO will be similar. We are selecting work PO ONM. Now the system is asking for the company code. Company code is 1000 for UJVNL in all the cases. Now the next step is to enter a vendor. If you are already aware of the vendor and vendor code, you can directly type the vendor code here. Else, you can also search the vendor code by clicking this button. And you can search the vendor by its name, Sai Enterprises. You will get all the vendors which have SAI in their name. See, we already have Sai Engineering Foundations 600. We can select it from here. Otherwise, if you are already aware of the vendor code, you can directly type the vendor code here. Now click enter. Now there is an additional data, and these which have been added to the screen. This is validity start and validity end. These two fields are now mandatory in the system. These two dates are the starting and the end date of the agreement. We need to enter the validity start and validity end of the agreement. This will be according to the agreement. Now the next step is to reference the PR. Now how we'll do it? We need to click on the document overview item tab. When you click here, you will get a window on the left side. Now click on this tree structure. You can select either my purchase requisitions or purchase requisitions. Enter the PR number we need and execute. Now the PR number will be displayed on the left side of the window. Now select, and then you can see a copy icon here. If you take the cursor, it shows adopt. Now click on adopt. Now all the line items which were in the PR are copied in the PO, as you can see. Now the system will automatically ask for the conditions to be added in the PO one by one. See, the first line item is of a supply line item. We need to enter the tax code. You can see the drop down list of the tax code using this. If you're already aware, you can directly enter. Suppose there is no tax applicable on this line item, so we'll select V0. Enter. Now the gross price. Since there is a possibility of change in price in PR and PO, we need to enter the gross price after the tender process has been done and we have received the final prices from the vendor. You can add other conditions like freight and everything, freight, insurance, surcharge. If any other condition is applicable corresponding to a line item here in the conditions. Click on a blank line item. Like this. Suppose a freight value is applicable for this line item. If you know the amount, you can directly use freight value. If you are aware of a percentage of a gross value that will be taken as freight, you can select percentage. Now here I am selecting freight percentage. You need to enter the percentage. Suppose 10% of the gross value is applicable. Now you can see as we click enter, freight 10% of the value, that is 200. 200 is added in the condition. Now we'll move on to the next line item. You can use the drop down from here, else you can move on to the next line item using this. Next. Same. Enter the amount. Tax condition, suppose 18% GST is available, is applicable in this line item. We'll click KD. Now we suppose that in second line item, we are aware of a freight value that is applicable for this line item. So we'll take a freight value. Now you can see there are two variations available: freight value tax, freight percentage and freight percentage tax. The difference between these two is, if we take freight percentage, only the 10% or whatever percentage of the gross amount will be applicable. If we select freight percentage tax, then the tax value of the tax code applicable on the line item will be applicable on the freight value as well. Now here we select freight percentage along with the tax. Now we add 10%. Now as you can see, the freight percentage was 300, and 18% of this is also added in the tax. Now you can see the difference. %18 of 300 rupees, that is 54 rupees, has been added to the tax. Now next we move to the third line item. Now third line item corresponds to a service. If we want to change the amount, we can change here, as it will be the same as per the order. Now similarly, we need to enter the tax code. %18 of the tax, that is 1440, has been calculated. Now if we want to add any other extra charges for this line item, we can do similarly. Suppose a 5% insurance is applicable for this. So we'll select insurance. We'll enter the percentage value 5% and click enter. So you can see 5% of the gross value, that is 400 rupees, has been added. Now we move to the last line item. The last line item for the service was created in limits. This variant we had discussed in the PR tutorial. When the division of the total amount of the service is not available with us, we use an overall limit of 10,000. Now we have entered all the required and mandatory conditions in a PO corresponding to a line item. We can check if in case we are missing a data by using the check button, similarly as in PR. Click on check. We can see there is a message, no messages issued during check. It means our PO is correct. Otherwise, it would have shown a red mark in front of the line item. Now, there are other basic details we need to enter in a purchase order. These are the bank guarantee details. It has been a practice not to enter the BG details in a PO, though the field for the same is available in the purchase order creation tab only. So we have to make sure that the BG details are entered while creating the purchase order itself. And a report for the same can be seen by using the T code ZMM4032, and we'll switch over to this report later on. Now I'll show you where to add these details. Now, as we can see, procurement type and mode of procurement. Other than that, PO subject. We need to enter PO subject also. This is a mandatory field and the same will be reflected in PO reports as well. Now scroll down. There you can see bank guarantee. You have to select yes from the drop down, and as soon as you select yes, the tabs for entering the BG details will open. So we'll enter all the bank guarantee details here. Bank name, bank address, BG start date, and BG end date. BG amount, nature of the BG, whether it is a performance guarantee or advance. These are the details we need to enter in this data and select enter. Now the overall and the total conditions of the purchase order can be seen in the conditions tab in this header. It will show the cumulative gross price, taxes, conditions and all. 23,000, as you can see, taxes amount is this, freight percentage, freight tax, insurance, all the conditions. The condition tab available in the item detail corresponds to a particular line item. As we can see, these conditions correspond to the line item 4, but in the header, the conditions tab item, all the conditions, cumulative conditions which corresponding to the whole purchase order are displayed here. Now you can see, as we clicked on the check button, the release strategy corresponding to this PO is visible. This release strategy always depends upon the combination of procurement type and mode of procurement, and this is as per the DOP. So when we are done by entering all the mandatory details in a purchase order, we need to click on the check button and then we need to check the release strategy. In case in this release strategy, if any of the detail is missing in any level, the users need to inform the same to the IT department to update or change the release strategy. Now since there is no error in our purchase order, we can save the purchase order. Now you can see purchase order has been generated with the below number 52,4x02053. All the people maintained in the release strategy will receive a message for the release of the PO. Now, the second T code was for change of a PO. If we want to make any change in the PO, we can go to ME22N. We need to click on this icon, other purchase order, enter our PO number, Now a PO will be opened. Now if you want to make any changes, you can make changes in this PO using this. Now the third step after creation is to release the PO, and the T code for the same is ME29N. Again, click on the other purchase order icon, enter your PO number, now click on release. The user can check all the details of the PO and release. Click on release and then save. Since this is a sample PO, same user is displayed at all the levels. In the production system, whosoever name is visible in the level will only be authorized to release the PO at that particular level. Now again, enter the PO number. Now as you can see, there is a level OM. This is for MOM upload. Attachment of any document, any particular document or MOM is mandatory at this step. So you can attach a document using this. Click on document, create, store business document. Enter the office code. If you are aware of the office code, you can directly type. Else, you can select from the drop down list and enter. Scroll down and select PO invoice document. Now select the document you want to attach. Enter the description. Unless and until an attachment has not been made at this level, the system will not allow to release the purchase order. Now we can release and save. We can view the attachment list also in the PO. You can click on the attachment list and see. If you double click on this, the same attachment will be downloaded. Now again, release the PO at the last level. As soon as the PO is released at the last level, you can see the released message here in blue. It means the PO has been finally released. And further process can be done on this PO. For example, SES, GRN or further processes. Now, if you want to display a PO, the T code for the same is ME23N. Here we can see all the details entered in the PO. Now we need to hand over the purchase order to the vendor. So to take the printout, the T code to take the printout of the purchase order is ZMM4022. We need to enter the purchase order number. You can see the print preview. You can move to the pages up and down by using these two icons. See now the purchase order, delivery address, PO number, release date, vendor details, and all the details of the purchase order are seen here. Now you can take the printout from here. Now we'll see the standard PO report in the system. The T code for the same is ME2N. Here we need to enter our plant code if we need to see a generalized report for the whole plant, and then execute. Here you can see all the PO that have been created till date in the system. You can also look into the PO by clicking on the line item, and the same PO will open. If we want to see list of particular POs that have been created from a specific SAP ID, then click on the icon Dynamic Selections and enter the FP number in the Created By tab. Since I am using admin-IT SAP ID, I'll enter the same and execute. So it will only list the POs created from the SAP ID admin-IT in the plant code 1102. We can also download the same list in Excel. For this, click on this icon, Local File, select Text with tabs, select the directory where you want to save the downloaded document. We can select desktop, and change the save as type to Excel. Now click on Generate. We can see the message downloaded. Now if we go to the desktop, we'll find the Excel. The Excel is in the standard form. We can go. We need to edit the Excel a bit. Now you can see the same has been downloaded in Excel. Now the other customized report for PO is available in the system, that is ZMM4038. Here we can enter our plant code. We can also specify if we want the purchase order from which date to which. Like we are looking for the purchase order of financial year 2020. There are two options available. One is the report form, another is the print form. First, we'll look into the report form. Only the basic details corresponding to the PO are available and visible in this. That is vendor name, vendor, PO, PO date, creator, PO subject, PO number, bank guarantee details, effective value. Also, this is the PO count available. We can see 138 PO have been created in the financial year 2020. Now, if you want to take the printout of the same, we can click on the ALV print form. See, this is the print form. You will get the total count of the PO as well, 138 PO details for and date for 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021. Now another report available in the system is related to bank guarantee details. The T code for the same is ZMM4032. Here you can see the bank guarantee details related to a particular PO or by the end date or all the bank guarantee details entered for a particular plant code. Now since we have created a PO, we'll first check the BG related to the PO we just created. So we enter the PO number. See, the details are available. Else we can check for the whole plant code. Then all the POs will be displayed here in which the bank guarantee details have been entered along with the DGM ID and GM ID. The purpose of adding DGM ID and GM ID is that as soon as the bank guarantee end date is near, notifications are sent to the executive engineer, DGM and GM so that they can renew the bank guarantee. Now with this, we'll end the tutorial on purchase order. Thank you.